The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign, trusted by over 500 NFL players for their winning smiles. And broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your host, Nicole Hutchison.
What up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. In the SWBC studio, I'm Nicole Hutchison, alongside Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and Jazz Monet. I've been slacking on that.
That was low. That wasn't your highest note.
And you do it different every time.
I know.
I be listening because I'm like, one day I'm going to harmonize, but it's just like,
wow.
you pick a different note every time, and I'm like, nah,
Dang,
I'm
trying to say my singing babe?
No, you bring
harmonize.
variety to the table.
Let's try to get. No.
Oh, gosh. It's getting real.
I'm Nicole Hutchison, alongside Aisha
I
Morrison,
got to know the note.
Jess Navarez,
Said harmonize.
and
Here we go.
Jazz Monet.
I can't find it. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
I know Jazzy back there.
Wow.
My ears started ringing.
That's crazy.
What practice?
I had to take that
What
out.
practice?
Y'all,
It's fine.
what's
Speaking of
happening
practice.
right now?
Speaking of practice, guys.
Yes.
Yes.
We're talking about practice.
That's
We're talking about practice. We're absolutely talking about
Talking
practice.
about
Because
My bad.
guess what?
What?
Brandin Cooks, Marshawn Kneeland, designated to return to practice today. That is
Let
actually
them
They
happening
have returned.
today. They have returned.
They are
because
practicing
practices
right now.
right now.
Let them cook.
Let them cook, and Marshawn don't have one for that. Don't have
Let me
it.
think.
It's fine.
I'll think on it.
The impact that these two guys, well, of course, they probably won't play this Sunday against the Washington Commanders, but their 21-day practice window has officially started. Just having those guys back, what kind of impact? Let's start with Brandin Cooks first. That impact of having Brandin Cooks back, what is it?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's a morale boost, and I think that's exactly what this team needs right now, coming off of back-to-back losses. Okay. I just had to, yeah. And the point is, you get a morale boost from even just saying Brandin Cooks, right? And the impact that he has in that locker room, in that room, just his presence alone, his mentorship, him being back physically and being able to help coach these guys. Because let's keep it a buck here. Some of these guys that he's around will not be here next year. They might be free agents. They might go to another team. So what they can get out of Brandin Cooks for the rest of the season will be not just valuable, for the rest of the season, so they don't have to end it in such a miserable fashion, but it could extend past and really get them good tape to get them where they want to be next year, whether that's here or not. So getting a morale boost, first and foremost. Second of all, you get some consistency here as well from that wide receiver 2 position that has been a question mark really all season. It's kind of been mixed around. Is it Terp? Is it Jalen Tolbert? We don't know. But what you do know is when you have a Brandin Cooks on the field, you have consistency, and that's exactly what this offense needs.
I'm with Jess in terms of morale. As far as what to expect from them on the field, ideally we would get the consistency that you're talking about. But considering what they're both coming back from, I think we do need to wait and see what they do before we put those expectations on them. However, yesterday when Mike McCarthy was asked about who's been stepping up as a leader on this team in the absence of DeMarcus Lawrence and Dak Prescott, he mentioned that what he's been depending on is guys to lead by example and show what they should be doing as players, and that different guys have been stepping up at different times, especially when they're designated team captains. So when it comes to that leading by example, we know Brandin Cooks is one of those people who historically has been very good for that. So I feel like him being back at practice, him being active during the games, even if he doesn't get as many snaps starting off, I think that'll do some good things for the offense, because you've got guys that are still fighting for various reasons. There are some people who really want to try to do the absolute most with these next 7 games. There are some people who've got incentives or they just want to put out good tape. So I believe that the example that he can set will be really good for this offense. So we'll see a morale boost. We'll see lifted spirits. And other than that, we'll just have to see how they've recovered and how they come back.
Yeah, I mean, y'all pretty much said it all in regard to the benefit of him actually being on the field. I'm just at a point to where, very similar to how y'all said, is that it's to further the team and for them to, and these guys to further themselves, given where you are in the season. I'm not expecting, well, I will say, just me personally, I'm just glad that Brandin Cooks had some time to get healthy. This knee was bothering him since training camp, and him having this time off, I think, will benefit him as well, just in his route running and things, because we weren't seeing the suddenness to being able to stop on a dime and go out of his and release. And so him being back to his 100% self, I'm happy for the player to have the opportunity to play fully healthy at this point in the season.
Yeah, I think you have to always be happy about a Brandin Cooks. I mean, you all hit it on the nail. But being happy about a Brandin Cooks being back in the fold, because you do get to learn from him. Specifically, like a guy like Jalen Turpin, they've always spoken so highly about what he brings to the table. But switching gears to Marshawn Kneeland, having him back. And again, this doesn't mean that they're going to be playing this week. I would hope not, because you still have to slowly get them back into the mix of things. But just having him, a guy like that back, and even though he's a rookie, having him back, what does that mean as well?
I'm ecstatic.
I mean, he's a rookie with a cultural impact.
Yeah.
So
That's a good way to put it.
I think in a lot of the same ways, although it wasn't as declared because people aren't used to having him around as much, but you could tell that, the way he approached the game had an impact on the rest of the unit.
Yeah, it's relief. It's relief for
That too.
really everyone around. And this is a room that, we've talked about has been hit time after time this season. A very heavily impacted room, starting, with Sam Williams going out, and then you had Tank, and then Marshawn, and then Micah. Like, it was just one thing after another. So now that you can slowly kind of start to build back what I think Mike Zimmer's vision was for this DE room, it really just puts you in a good position as far as going forward. You can start to see more of what the vision actually was, because I truly believe what you're seeing out of Mike Zimmer's defense is not what he had planned, given the amount of injuries to key significant players, younger or older, a Tank Lawrence or Marshawn Kneeland. When you have both ends of those spectrum out, that impacts your vision significantly. And I think that's kind of what you're seeing now. But it brings relief. It brings relief to everybody around, including the coaching staff, who could scheme upon his return.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm excited for Marshawn Kneeland, one of my favorite players coming out of this draft. I think he came out and showed very early why he was drafted those first few games, just showing that run-stopping ability and the soundness that he plays with as a defender, as a run defender specifically. But he was, before he got injured, starting to show some pass rush ability, starting to get have a pass rush plan, showing that heaviness in his hands. And so I hope that he's able to continue to build upon that. And in regard to Zimmer's defense, as you mentioned, Jess, I do think that we are seeing this defense make little improvements every week. And one thing that they are doing well is getting pressure, but they're not getting home. And I think that maybe not right away, but his presence will eventually start helping, because he can push the pocket. He's still very strong. So we'll see how his impact allows Zimmer to maybe do some things that he's been wanting to do, as you were talking about, Jess. And again, I didn't want him to miss his whole rookie year. Yeah. So I'm happy that he's on the field again.
It kind of goes back to what you were saying yesterday about now you kind of just sit back and evaluate, especially with getting guys back later in the season. And it's unfortunate that they had to deal with injuries the entire year leading up until week 11.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now 21 days,
fast.
that's about what, week 13, week 14?
So fast.
I feel like it feels like he just got injured.
Yeah.
And it feels like the season just started.
Season is flying by.
Yes.
To me, it feels much longer than it's actually been since he got injured specifically. Stop. I was about to be positive and say, but it could go by faster.
No, it's winter time.
With the daylight savings and it getting pretty much dark at 4 p.m.
No, I'm excited
Speaking
to
of
watch
things
the
that are
defense
long,
every week.
The practice report came through.
Oh, thank you, girl.
Hit it.
Hallelujah. Because, whoa, I was waiting for that.
What we got?
All right, here we go. Y'all ready?
Ready.
For real, y'all ready?
Ready.
I guess.
Actually ready.
No, I need some more energy because that wasn't it.
We're ready.
Thank you. There we go. It's a little bit better. All right.
Oh, okay.
Deron Bland, full participant. Brandin
Sweet.
Cooks, limited, as expected.
Yeah.
Chuma Edoga, full participant. Jake Ferguson did not participate. Obviously, concussion from week 11. Tyler Guyton, full participant. Eric Kendricks, limited. Marshawn Kneeland, limited. CeeDee Lamb, limited. Back foot injury. Jordan Lewis, limited. He did say today in locker room that he feels good. He's still expecting to play on Sunday against the Commanders. Hunter Lipke, Zach Martin, Tyler Smith, Nick Vigil did not participate in today's practice. So, still another lengthy injury report.
Yeah.
But who stands out there from
Is
that
CD
report?
still dealing with the AC joint thing as well? Because he's been wearing a brace on it, hasn't he?
His back foot.
Yeah,
Really?
but I was just wondering if he was. Dang.
He's fighting through it.
He is.
I mean, nothing really surprises me on that. Nothing really stands out. What I did like to hear was Deron Bland being a full participant. That's who you know.
Absolutely.
I have been waiting to see. And not just me, everybody. And honestly, if any room needs relief, we're talking about relief, it is that cornerback room. And Deron Bland, I think they'll kind of inch him in a little bit. They're not really going to full-blown put you out there every single snap. You know he's coming back from an injury. But... Yeah. To get that relief out there and just have that name, again, that respect on the field, coming off of a record-breaking season last year, that makes people question what they're doing, especially when you're talking about a rookie quarterback coming in this
And whoever's
this Sunday.
opposite Trayvon Diggs is going to get
saying.
some...
You don't necessarily
some
have
targets.
the rookie to pick on anymore if you have a Deron Bland and a Trayvon Diggs side by side. You don't really have a weak side anymore, if you will. And not to say Kalen Carson is weak, I'm just saying... There's a different respect that quarterbacks and opposing offensive coordinators do not have for Kalen Carson yet. And I'm going to say yet because it will come.
Does,
I like that yet.
Was he on injury report?
Kalen was not on there.
He not on there?
No.
Okay.
Why?
Because he was for a
No,
long
I know,
time.
but I'm saying I didn't know if you had, no.
Nah, I was asking.
So you just didn't know if the shoulder was still
Okay.
bugging?
Yeah, because I was trying to figure out the decision to start Israel McCormick last week.
I mean,
Is that a corners or like kickers?
if
They feelings get hurt.
if I had to
I
guess,
don't like it. They got to bounce back.
He seemed fine in locker room.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's fine.
Yeah.
That's the type of person he is. I'm not worried about his confidence. I'm wondering if they're trying to figure things out or they just throwing things at the wall trying to figure things out at this point. And also Israel Mukuamu, if I'm not mistaken, is on his last year here.
Yes.
So maybe they're trying to give him an opportunity as well.
Yeah.
I also think he's earned it. At this point, I think Izzy's been patient. He's waited until his number has been called, and
His whole career.
and I really think at this point in the season, when you're down to your last wire, why not give the guy that's earned it and busted his tail to
I agree.
always be there the shot? I mean, Kalen got his shot, and yes, it's been rough, but I think it was
He
only
gonna be
fair.
here next year?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
He gonna be here. Wait.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who, Kalen?
Kalen?
Kalen, yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Rookie.
sure. What year is he though? He went in the fifth.
Rookie.
Yeah.
No, he went in the fifth.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he'll be here next year.
Fifth round players don't get the same
Opportunities.
guaranteed. You're gonna be here
what
the
you're
next
saying.
year.
That's,
So
that's
we'll
fair.
That's
But
fair.
I also think looking at the laundry list of free agents and
No,
kind
you're
of where
right.
you're
They're gonna-
at,
he
I think
has-
he has a better
he'll be
shot
fine.
of being here than some.
He'll be fine.
Some
And
other
he has a
ones
guy
on
like
that
Al
list.
Harris in his corner who absolutely
Right.
loves him
And
in this
exactly.
room.
I hope he's here, too.
So,
I
yeah.
think I'm going
sounds
to
good.
reserve my enthusiasm on Deron Bland just because he's been a full participant before.
That's very true.
And that is true. I mean, I'm just excited to see consistency in the full participancy here. Not to say we don't know what's going to happen come Sunday, but to see it consistently happen, to me, that's always a really good sign that you're on an upward tick to returning.
I don't know what his rehab has looked like, but I do understand like in how he plays and the aggressiveness that he plays with, being able to have confidence in that foot to plant, to drive, to go, to turn his hips, all those things is something that's going to take time. So I just want to see him. I'll be watching him very closely if he does get to play. His movement, his body language, just all those things about him, because it's kind of what makes him special. Like, to me, it's kind of what makes him special is the footwork, is the ability to take some risk that other people maybe can't do. And so I'm just going to be paying attention to that, letting him slowly but surely. Foot injuries are serious. Have y'all stumped y'all's toe? You thought you was going to die. Imagine fracturing something in there. So
No, because
Yeah.
I
It's a
did that the other
serious
day
thing.
and I screamed.
yeah, you want to fight. So it's like
I did.
No, literally.
I literally
if you
did.
stomp your toe, you trying to
I'm throwing
box
hands.
whatever you hit your toe on.
The trash can.
So imagine
the
like
trash can.
squaring up with the trash can.
I almost did. I'm
But
like,
so just
look at me
imagine
again.
having a broken foot. It is
Yeah.
so the bones in your foot are so delicate. I'm
Yeah.
sure you know that. So it's like it is gonna take him some time. So I'm
Bones and
fine with
muscles in
it.
the foot are
And
very
the muscle
delicate.
sister. So whenever he decides,
Anything but bland. Can't wait to say it.
She got a disease.
And staying, Lord goodness. No.
Just wait till he comes back.
Staying patient also goes towards DeMarcus Lawrence. He was seen in the building today.
Yeah.
He lives.
So good to see you.
He did tell the media that he's close to returning. And he did say that he's, unlike the conversations that have been surrounded around Zach Martin, he did make it clear he will be back next year. He ain't letting no injury deter him.
Well, he's a free agent next year, so where exactly will he be back?
All right. Let's not think about that right now.
I'm just saying.
But no, it was just good to hear from DeMarcus Lawrence, and the fact that he's just kind of taking his time and rehabbing. So he did emphasize that as well. All right, we're going to take our first break. Up next, we're going to be taking a look at the Washington Commanders. Up next, here on Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign. We'll be right back. Scary.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
Cowboys Nation, Amanda Foster has been named your 2024 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, for her dedication to the team and spicing up the game. Vote for Amanda to be named the ultimate NFL Fan of the Year at NFL.com/Fan of the Year. Go vote for our girl, Amanda.
Vote for her.
Amanda.
Vote for her.
Amanda.
That's actually pretty dope. The Fan of the Year stuff. It's pretty nice.
And to a fellow lady, hello.
I was about to say, when's the last time we had a Fan of the Year that was a woman?
Go vote for Amanda.
That's a good question. Vote for Amanda.
Go vote for her.
All right. Let's take a look at the Cowboys versus Washington Commanders. You look at the NFC standings, and the Cowboys right now are 5 games behind the Eagles, who are first. Then you look at second, sitting at 7-4. It's the Washington Commanders. So the Cowboys are now 3 games behind the Washington Commanders. Let's start with what a win. I mean, you look at the Cowboys' record, 3-7. Would a win right now mean anything? This is just a question.
Okay.
But would it mean for the Cowboys?
A win, considering
is a win.
Because,
considering what they would have to do to win, a win would actually mean a lot right now. It would mean that the players still have a high enough morale to actually go out there and try, because while the Commanders, they're not perfect by any means, but they have done some impressive things this season. Like Jaden Daniels has looked really good. It sounds like he's bouncing back from that rib injury. So from what I'm hearing, it sounds like the Commanders are expecting this to be somewhat of a get-right game. They're on like a 2-game losing skid, and they're looking to correct some things against the Cowboys. So if the Dallas Cowboys are able to approach this game with the mindset and the work ethic that's required to go up against a team who feels like pretty much like they should be able to win this game and that they can use this game to correct some of the things that they haven't been getting right. It would mean that they've gotten a consistent run game going. It would mean that the defense is stopping the run. It would mean that the defense is figuring out some of the tricks that they try to pull with the offense in terms of how they scheme things in order to make their own run game effective. So we'd see a lot of good things from the Cowboys. I think there are some people out there who might break the hopium out the Ziploc bag if that were to happen. Sorry.
Wait, what?
Huh?
The hopium?
The hopium Ziploc bag?
At the Ziploc bag.
Yeah.
The opium is in the bag.
Yeah.
They're going to take it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so confused.
I'm picking up where you're putting it now.
I was following.
Sorry.
I don't know where people keep their hopium, but wherever it is,
I got it now.
They would break it out in celebration.
I'm
Still lost.
It's fine.
It's
I'm
okay.
very lost.
It took me a minute too.
Sorry.
It's all right.
You can explain it to me later. Okay. Your question was, would this win do anything?
Yes.
Anytime you can beat a divisional opponent, I mean, it just feels nice. And really, who I feel bad for at this point are the rookies on this team who have to continue to be here after this year, no matter what happens, and not getting to experience, divisional wins or a winning record, because for the past 4 years, that wasn't a problem. And so, what would a win do? To be honest, it's really what you need. You don't, according to the coaching staff, they haven't lost the locker room. I don't think they have. I think this is a group of guys that, because they are on the Dallas Cowboys, learn to drown out outside noise. That is one of the first things these rookies learn, is you cannot listen to it. The veterans preach it. The coaching staff preaches it. So they have their little Dallas Cowboys bubble. For me, I don't really think the bubble has been tainted yet by the disbelief that this team is not a good team. But I do think a win would just be a nice, refreshing feeling for these guys at this point. Because let's face it, too, you also don't want to go out and lose division game after division game after division game, seeing that the Giants are in your future, your very near future as well. If you lose the Eagles, you lose the Commanders, and potentially, I don't know, what could happen on Thanksgiving? You lose to the Giants. What does that do? So for me, you need to start that winning streak, especially in your division, because look, playoffs, foggy, right? Looks out of reach, not impossible, not likely, but if you really, really want to screw with the Eagles, start winning and mess up their seeding, you guys. Like, that's the best thing you can do at this point.
It's very true.
So to me, you need to keep the morale boosted, because if you lose that locker room, that's when things get ugly, and I don't think they've lost the locker room yet.
Yeah, I mean,
Retweet.
Facts. Like, I mean, for me, it's again, we're talking about evaluating moving forward. I think that Washington offense specifically they're kind of building a foundation. We can expect to see Jaden Daniels for multiple years. We can expect to see Brian Robinson. Like, we can expect to see Terry McLaurin, like these people. So I'm really looking at evaluating what going head up with them 2 times a year is going to feel like. To your point, Jess, and I thought you made a really good point, the fact that the Cowboys have been able to dominate in this division for the most part outside of the Eagles, and most of the time they're splitting with them for the last 3 years. I mean, maybe more than that, depending on if you count what's happened with the Giants for the last, like, forever since Dak's been in the league. But, yeah, these teams have caught up. Let's put it like that. The rest of the NFC East has caught up with your talent and all those things. And so this, to me, is going to be a nice little see into, okay, this is what the competition is going to look like every year.
Yeah.
This is what, and Washington's going to be able to build upon what they have now. Jaden Daniels is going to get better. And I, for one, am excited about there being competition in the NFC East now.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't think it's healthy for you to just have unless you were the Patriots back in the day.
It doesn't prepare you, though.
No, like, yeah,
Right.
I don't think that
Right.
it's to your, yeah, I don't think it's like real. And we talked about that last year with all the blowouts. It gives a false sense of security to your team, to where they lose that sense of urgency to go ahead and play, every game like it's a serious deal. So for me, I'm just evaluating these kids, just getting the looks, and most of my main kids, but Jaden is a Nugget. evaluating this guy, really, I'm excited to kind of get a look at him playing against the Cowboys. And I will say, I think defensively, they are starting to gain some momentum, to your point. I think that they are starting to find some things that work for them as well. So
it goes towards the culture that Dan Quinn has brought over there.
Oh,
Because
they
you
do a
look at the
fantastic
season,
job.
2023, they finished 4-13. 2022, 8-8. 2021, 7-10. The list goes on until 2016. That's when they had their last winning record in their regular season. So when you look at what Dan Quinn has brought to that organization, and something I'd ask the players is, what do y'all feel like he has brought to the organization that he didn't or couldn't bring here? And they did talk about the belief within their defensive guys, but they said that now he's a head coach, so that's a little bit different. You're touching so many more guys. And that's word for word. They said you're touching way more guys, and that's a dangerous type of belief you don't want to play against. So just talking about what you've seen Dan Quinn bring to that organization at the Washington Commanders, what have y'all seen?
I mean, just some of the sound that's coming out of the locker room.
Yeah.
You can kind of hear it exactly what.
Yeah.
Were you about to say something?
I'm laughing because my answer was, go ahead.
But yeah, a lot of the things that you heard Dallas Cowboys defensive players say last season, and even like some of them have been saying it this season, you're seeing it from several members of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah.
You can see that he has instilled belief. You can see that they feel connected, that they feel motivated, that they feel like, the previous seasons do not matter. They're there now, and they really believe that they're one of the best teams in the league, and they're playing like it. So not only has he brought like a feeling of belief, he's actually doing things from, a play calling and a personnel standpoint that actually reinforces that. So you can just kind of tell the culture there is very different than what it was before. You can tell from listening to how they talk, and even from listening to some of the things that Dan Quinn talks about. Like I was listening to his press conference from yesterday, and he was talking about how they do Tell the Truth Mondays and just things like that, and talking about how that helps the players connect to one another and connect with him, and how it just instills a sense of trust, and helps them all kind of like find their purpose and find like common goals, common purpose, and also highlight some of the things that they can do better and improve upon. But instead of feeling like they're being criticized, it's almost like they have this I guess camaraderie based on what they're being honest about. So just, little things like that can make a big difference in how players talk to each other and how they approach the work that they have to do during the week.
That's a really good point. That's a
Tell the Truth Monday.
We should do that.
We should do that on the show.
We should call it something else, but we should do that.
We should dance.
Speak that talk Monday.
Talk that talk Monday.
Talk that talk Mondays.
I like it.
Can we do it on Thursdays though? So I'll be
Talk
here.
that talk Thursday.
Oh, that has a better ring to it,
That
actually.
does. I think I like that.
Yeah.
All right, bet. My bet.
To answer your question.
T, triple T. No,
tried to dance.
I lost it.
I
Go
tried
ahead.
to dance.
It's fine.
So what I think Dan Quinn brought with his culture is a team that was already brought together, because look at how many guys followed Dan Quinn here. Us on this side, we've gotten to experience Dan Quinn, and the impact that man has when he walks into a room. It's very infectious, it's very electric, and even being in his press conferences, it's a different feeling, even how he went about that. He would start out with a statement, say what he needs to say, and then open up for questions. And the statements that he had were very honest, very open, wasn't trying to hide anything. It was all out on the table. It was accountable, informative, and smart. So for me, as a media member last year covering the team, I was like, oh, dang, okay, yeah, this is good. Like, it inspires you, or at least I can talk from my own experience, it inspired me to really look into the defensive side of the ball, because it was intriguing. Dan Quinn made that side of the ball intriguing, okay? So I can imagine from a player's perspective, hearing how guys talk about him, younger, older, guys that have followed him, guys that continued to follow him after they left here. Yeah, it wasn't a shock in free agency at all when we were sitting here saying, oh,
there's another one.
Another one to Washington. Guess where he's going? Because, yeah, he has that kind of energy that I think is just rare as a human, but it's even more rare as a coach. It's very magnetic, and it draws people in. And how he does it is he takes his work very personal, and he treats them almost like his children, to where I think it could be a fault of his sometimes, to where it's like too personal where you kind of saw that getting in the way here. But I think when you're rebuilding a culture like the Commanders did, that's exactly the head coach that you needed to do that. And look, I'm happy for Dan Quinn, just not this week. Not this week. Ask me any other week except 2 this season. This is one of the 2. And it could be the week the Cowboys take advantage of knowing how this man operates too. Yeah. Like Mike McCarthy worked hand in hand with Dan. You know what this guy's thinking. You know what his moves are. Take advantage of that. And it could work vice versa. But Mike also coached all of the players that followed from here over there as well. So take advantage of it. Pick inside all of their minds. Know their tendencies, and get that win.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I will say that I want to give much respect to Dan Quinn as well. I mean, what he was able to do here coming from this Cowboys defense in 2020 to turn it around, the shift that he made and the way that he, like you said, was able to galvanize some of these young players, some of these guys. And quite honestly, he revamped guys' careers.
Yes.
I mean, Malik Hooker coming off of Achilles, if I'm not mistaken. Donovan Wilson at that point hadn't even had opportunity to that point. He believed in Jordan Lewis to be the corner that he needed him to be. He and that defense decided, hey, Micah, let's go play DN. That has shifted.
He highlighted players' strengths.
Yes, he was good. He was good. And so I wanted to definitely give much respect to him. And I think we use this term kind of like loosely in the NFL, but he clearly understands how to be a leader and also to how to lead those young men and to get them to, and I don't know, man, whatever, and getting them to believe in what he's doing. He practices what he preaches. We see that as well. But to answer your question, what did he do? What did he bring? Baby, draft picks, free agents.
Everything they were not doing before.
Let me talk to you. Linebackers, you know what he brought? Like
everything.
Washington, he went into, yes.
Don't get me started
He's
with
played
that.
phenomenal this year, by the way.
Man,
but he's played really good
Yes.
football this year, by the way.
Shout out to our guy, Tyler Biadasz.
Yeah.
He was a Girls Talk, Boys Talk. He was the Yogi Bear, the OG Yogi Bear.
He came to visit. But I will say, I those are the things he also brought there. And when a team sees new talent, when they see that you are willing to go spend, to bring guys in, to set the foundation for that team, which is what they did. I mean, getting they have been lacking a quarterback for years. Yep. They got one. They're seeing it on display. These guys. What's up?
Can you imagine the impact of just being on that team and you have a new coach come in and that many guys follow him? Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like that alone would make players
that says something.
Be like, okay, let me sit up straight and listen to this man because clearly he has something that makes these guys. And then like Noah Brown, I was in Twitter space when Noah Brown caught that Hail Mary. And people were like,
insane.
Seriously. Yeah. Anyway, this is a Cowboys podcast.
But yeah,
it's fine. It's all right.
But yeah, I mean, out of the things he brought, I think that this is his fresh start. This is his new start, and good for them.
Just not this week.
Good for them.
On that note, we have a short podcast today, so we do have to take our second break. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit special teams and John Fossil and the biggest news of the day in Marquise Bell.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be right back with more Girls Talk, Boys Talk.
The Dickey family always mandated that the only Polish-style sausage worthy of their restaurant must have high-quality coarse ground beef and pork, rich spices, and fresh natural casings. We still serve it to this day, and it's so popular, Dickey's sausage has been named the official sausage of the Dallas Cowboys. The perfect matchup on game day. Dickey's Barbecue Pit. No one outsmokes us. Order at dickeys.com. For groups, call 866-BARBECUE.
Dibs on the ribs.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby. The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that sixth ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black. And right now, Cowboys fans can get 15% off their $75 order. Plus, because every deal needs a playmaker, your order will include a free 5-piece skincare set and free shipping. The Jack Black Playmaker is 4 of Jack's favorites and a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Make a play for the Playmaker at getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys with the code CowboysVIP.
Capture a frame-worthy family holiday photo with Santa at the Star presented by Monument Realty. Santa will be spreading holiday cheer at his Cowboys-themed cottage in the Star District from November 22nd through December 24th. For more information and to book your visit, head to thestardistrict.com/Santa. Give it up for our guy Santa.
Yeah, all right, real fast because we have 4 minutes, and then they have to prepare for Mike McCarthy to address the media in about 10 minutes. Make sure to stick here on DallasCowboys.com, Twitter, and everything, because we'll be streaming it live. All right, real fast. There was some emotions yesterday from Bones John Fossil. Sorry, we're so used to saying Bones. Just with the news of Marquise Bell when he went down with a shoulder injury in Week 11 against the Texans. Let's go ahead and listen to what he had to say yesterday in the press conference.
Nick Harris for Star Telegram. Marquise Bell, how valuable has he been to your unit? And if you lose him, how big of a blow is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that one hurts. I mean, he's put as good a special teams ball through 10 games as I can remember. I mean, man, he just, he got hurt doing what he does best, just flying in there, diving, and he's gonna be okay. But man, just gosh, spent so much time with these guys in meetings and practice field and the game field, and the emotions of undrafted to wanting a little bit more and accepting his role and thriving in his role. Damn, that I'm hurting for him because he was on a mission. He was as good as we've had in a while. So that one hurt.
And that was yesterday's press conference. And then today there were reports from Todd Archer from ESPN. He had said that Marquise Bell will miss the rest of the season with a dislocated left shoulder that may require surgery. That was per his sources. However, we will not have that confirmed until Mike McCarthy addresses the media at 4:45. So be sure to wait and listen to that to hear confirmation on Marquise Bell. But when you talk about Bones and the special teams unit, I mean, what have y'all seen with that whole relationship and how he coaches his guys?
I mean, yesterday when that moment happened, the air felt like it got sucked out of the room, because you could kind of tell, like, at the beginning of the press conference, there were several people in that room who were just like, they're like going through the motions, waiting for a headline. Like, people weren't even taking notes. And then when that pause happened, you kind of saw people look up and realize, like, oh, this emotion is real. And nobody wanted to disturb the moment, but all of a sudden laptops started opening, notebooks started opening, people started getting on their phones. You could tell that that was a moment that actually impacted them, which I feel like is so important, because some of the other things that he said, like, because the rest of the press conference, there was still some emotion there. And he described Marquise Bell as a tough-ass kid. And one of the things that he said about his special teams unit, he said, these young men are very human. And I feel like the way that he displayed his emotion kind of drove that home. That's something that feels like it's gotten lost this season a little bit. And this was one of the first times that we've seen someone show some real emotion about one of the injuries that's happening. And I felt like that was so important for the people in the room to feel that at that time. And I went back and I watched the broadcast view of when that moment happened. And you saw Marquise go down, and you could tell the way that he was reaching and the way that he was moving, something was terribly wrong. And then the next thing that you see is Maris Luafau and Keeman Hall, like, standing over him, literally pushing guys off of him, away from him, trying to protect their buddy. And I feel like that is the essence of what Fossil was trying to describe to us yesterday when he talked about their toughness, and he talked about the fight that they still had despite everything that's happened going on this season and how much faith he has in them. Just like it was all summed up in that one moment, and that was heavy, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I thought I was gonna cry listening to it.
I'm good. Well, yeah, no, prayers up for Marquise Bell, praying that if he does have to undergo surgery, that it goes well. His recovery process is it goes well as well, and yeah, just praying for a speedy recovery for him. But all right, we have to go because Mike McCarthy will be talking in about 5 minutes. For Nicole Hutchison, Aisha Morrison, Jess Navarez, and Jazz Monet.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
We'll see y'all back here tomorrow. Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Invisalign.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!